Welcome to another edition of PENSDOWN. On this program, we give journalists the opportunity to tell us about their journalism journeys. A lot happens in their bid to bring us the news, but we never get to hear them. This is the platform that brings all those behind the scenes issues and developments to you so that we can better appreciate what journalists go through in their bid to gather, package, process, and deliver the news to you in the comfort of wherever you'll be consuming it from. Today, I've been joined by a very senior journalist he's based in London. He is the founder and publisher of the London-based Pan-African news magazine, Africa Briefing. In a career spanning more than 4 decades, he has written extensively on African business and economy for various London-based publications. He has also written for the UN publication Africa Recovery, now Africa Renewal, and the New York-based business magazine, The Network Journal. Between 2002 and 2003, my guest was a consultant at the Harare-based Mirror Group newspapers, where he was responsible for capacity building and revamping of 2 publications, namely the Sunday Mirror and the Daily Mirror. As editor of the Africa Economic Digest, which used to be the leading publication on African business and economy from 1994 to 2002, he steered the magazine through stormy times during the incarceration of its proprietor, the late Chief MKO Abiola. He has done several news analyses on Africa for the BBC, radio and television, and the UK's Sky TV News. He is also a regular analyst on Al Jazeera, Arise News, Press TV, and SABC. In March 1998, my guest presented a paper on the importance of culture to the development of tourism in Africa at the ITB, the world's biggest tourism fair held annually in Berlin, Germany. He also addressed the Blantyre Rotary Club, composed largely of Malawi's business elite, on the merits and demerits of structural adjustment in Africa in September 1997. His 2005 article on China's increasing economic relations with Africa was first runner-up in the best published feature category of the Diageo African Business Reporting Awards. He was the business editor and later editor of News Africa, the London-based Pan-African news magazine from 2004 to 2012. My guest has traveled extensively on the African continent and has a firm grasp of current political, economic, and social trends on the continent. Mr. Jonathan Offei-Ansah is my guest on PENSDOWN today. Very honored to have you here today, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sylvian.
What informed your decision to go into journalism in the first place?
Well, I have always liked journalism. I've always enjoyed reading and writing. And I recall, I always tell this to anybody who will listen. I went to primary school in Accra.
Okay.
It was called the Government Boys School in those days.
Okay.
And I remember when I was in primary 6, our teacher, Mr. Vincent Alote Menga.
Okay. Okay.
I was 10 years old at that time, 10 years old. He got me hooked on current affairs, because anytime class started, he would just throw us questions about the news, current affairs during Cromer's days. I mean, he just got me interested. I mean, so that's how. So I've had an interest in current affairs since that age. And again, my old man too also got me interested. But it's something that I think is innate. I always say that journalism is a calling, not a job. It's a calling. It's like one becomes a doctor. When you're a doctor, you qualify as a doctor. you sign the Hippocratic Oath
Yes.
to save lives and so on and so forth. And as a journalist, you must have a passion for it, an interest in it. The passion, not just for reading and writing, but a passion to inform, to educate, to entertain. You must have that passion to speak truth to power, to let people know what is going on, in the world around them. So, I mean, journalism is something that I've always liked, since a very, very early age.
Oh. Did you start journalism practice in Ghana here, or you started in the UK, in London?
I did start in the UK. I went to London School of Journalism, as you said. I started, and from there, after I qualified, I worked for about 6 years at the Ghana High Commission.
Okay.
Yeah, as an assistant to the information officer. And after 6 years, I left to become a freelance. Freelance. I specialize in music journalism. For about 2-3 years, and I enjoyed it. I met some huge, celebrities, and one of my highlights at that time was interviewing the late Whitney Houston.
Okay.
During her first UK tour, I think November 1986, thereabouts. Yeah, and but as time went by, I decided to be taken. I felt that being a music journalist, I wasn't being taken in quotes seriously.
Okay.
So I decided to go into proper news, hard news, as you like.
Okay.
So I work at West Africa magazine. And then for about a year, then I joined African Concord magazine, which was owned by the late Chief Abiola. It was a very popular Pan-African magazine, in those days. And after a year at African Concord, I was moved to Africa Economic Digest, which was also owned by Abiola, a sister publication. And I got stuck in business and economic reporting ever since to this day. Yeah.
So business and economic reporting, I am interested in the African story because majority of the things you've done over the years has focused on Africa, and you have had extensive travel to the continent. How do you compare reporting on the African continent as an African and then reporting on the African continent from a different environment? What are the sharp divisions or the clear-cut, inequalities between the two?
Well, I think this question has a few strands, and I'll try to answer all. Reporting in Africa, look, I've been to Africa, God knows how many times, traveled, done country reports, and I know what goes on the continent. Reporters in Africa don't enjoy the same freedoms we do here, and don't enjoy the same resources that we have here, though I think the trend is changing, currently, right? So maybe what I can freely report about, the average reporter in Africa or in any African country might not want to report it for fear of a recommendation, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And again, sitting in London, and reporting on Africa, you're not on the ground. So I have a lot of contacts on the continent. And whom I trust. So I'm always in touch with them. Like a major news breaks in Ghana, for example. I have about 2 very, very reliable, ethical journalists in Accra, whom I can call. I said, okay, my friend, I hear this, what, this and that, is happening. Can you confirm? Oh, yes, it's true, it's happening. So can you give me some details?
Okay.
Right, and they'll give, so when I report it from here, it's as authentic as the one, or as credible as the one who reported from Accra. So you are always, on the ball. Yeah, they do say the wire copy is always produced from various sources on developments in Africa. And like I said, I have a lot of sources, a lot of contacts everywhere: South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, across South Africa. I have sources whom I talk to, I believe I trust, and I talk to. So that's the difference. Again, so that's the difference between reporting in Africa, being on the ground in Africa, and reporting, from London. Okay. If I've answered your question, yeah.
Okay. In Africa, journalism is seen as a critical tool for development, especially with budding democracies and once in a while the upsurge in dictatorship and all manner of things. I'm sure you deal with a number of African correspondents that string into your publication from time to time. How do you see the progress of Africa? For instance, from the time, let's say, you started journalism some 40 years ago up until now, has there been progress, or you will say that we have still not gotten there yet in terms of the quality of journalism practice?
Yes and no. Some parts of Africa, the quality is quite good, very high. And in other parts, it's not so good. Okay. And I remember I was once interviewed by Shaka Sali, the popular Shaka Sali, on the Straight Talk Africa. Africa, about you. And I said, look, some journalists, I was blunt to say, some journalists in Africa, I call them stomach journalists, right? They follow their stomachs, in practicing the profession. Okay, I mean, if Mr. A will give them $100 and Mr. B will give them $500, they'll report favorably for Mr. B, without fact-checking nothing. Okay, and I always say that, look, in a country like Ghana, the press freedom, the media freedom, is hard won. Okay. Compared to other countries, maybe like Uganda or whatever. I mean, Ghana, the media, the press is freer than in those countries. But that freedom, to me, is a privilege, right? And every privilege entails responsibility. Okay. And number two, again, the political terrain is so polarized. So polarized. So you either, look, it is so everywhere, even in America. I mean, Fox News, is called it's for Trump supporters. And CNN, it's a very liberal, center left, news media. But you try to be objective.
Okay.
You try to be objective. I mean, nobody, to me, there's no 100% objectivity in journalism. That's what, because you, as a human being, you have your biases, right? You can be subjective about this or that, but you mustn't let your preferences or your biases, I mean, cloud your judgment, cloud your reporting, right? Present the facts as you see them. If you can analyze as you deem fit, right? And think that the reader, your reader, is intelligent enough to draw their own conclusions from what you publish. You see, but you don't go maybe and publish falsehoods. You lay yourself open to all sorts of legal action, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You see, yeah. So yes, while journalism, the level of journalism, the quality has increased in so many places across the board, there are still, some concerns that I have as to objectivity. That is my key concern, actually, because we need to be objective. Look, I have a party I support in Ghana. There are two media parties.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to name parties, but there was one time I did a special report on Ghana. Okay, a country report on Ghana. I'm not going to mention again the publication I was working for at that time, right? And when the report came out, the one minister saw it. But we thought John supported us. So we didn't expect this kind of, report, from him. And I said, okay, this report is balanced. Okay, you don't put the food on my table. You don't pay for the roof over my head. You don't put the clothes on my back, right? And I'm not going to sacrifice or compromise my professional integrity on the altar of party politics. I don't do that. And when you do that, I think you win their respect. They respect you.
Yeah.
You tell truth to power. You hold power accountable and all that. They respect you. So yes, journalism, the quality of journalism, standard of journalism has increased, but still, I still see some deficiencies, if you like.
What has been the most difficult assignment you've had to, reporting assignment that you've had to undertake in an African country?
I would say, without trying to sound maybe big-headed or so, I wouldn't say I've had any difficult assignment because I got into my own as a business economic reporter, in the 80s, late 80s, 90s. I'm known in London circles as a business economic reporter. And every assignment I covered was okay. Because again, I have this maxim, the 5 P's. P as in Peter, 5 P's.
Yes.
That prior preparation prevents poor performance.
Okay, great.
Right? So before I embark on any assignment, I do my research very well. I prepare very well. Even before I interview somebody, I try as much as I can to do some research into their own background, personal background. Yeah. So when I sit down with them, the small talk, I'll be able to warm myself to it. We talk if the one likes football, maybe suppose maybe a grass of folk or whatever. I casually bring that grass of folk, brother, and you do that. They warm yourself, you warm yourself into their confidence, and it goes on. So if you prepare for any assignments, it's not difficult. It's not as if I was a war reporter or whatever. No, but all my assignments, to me, in my opinion, I don't recall having any difficult assignment, unless maybe it comes to the writing, like you should research for a country report where you have to write, the equivalent of about 12 published pages. That involves a lot. Maybe that is where maybe to sit down and write, transcribe the interviews, interview maybe about 10 people for the report, how to weave, all the
one into the other.
Into the other to make a tapestry, to paint a beautiful picture for the reader. Apart from that, I haven't considered any assignments difficult. No.
Has there been a time you've had to publish a retraction of portions or whole of a story because the facts as was presented either by you or a reporter under you turned out to be false?
Okay, I came close to that, but I didn't because, again, the facts were correct. But the other party maybe tried to, they felt that their reputation might be affected. No, yeah, it was a company, to involve a company, yeah, in the UK here, who wanted some dealings with the tailing, the gold tailings at the pressure mine. You know the gold tailings. Yeah.
Yes.
And after that deal was a bit dodgy, and my very trusted correspondent, who always fact checked all the stories, brought me the article. We published it, and when the magazine, I was then at Africa Economic Digest. I was in the mid 90s, yeah.
Okay.
I was the editor at that time, yeah. So when the magazine came out, Africa Economic Digest came out, this company's lawyers wrote to me as the editor, saying that the story contains some inaccuracies. And because of AED, Africa Economic Digest, reputation, how authoritative it was. Yeah. It might affect that their clients standing in the city of London. I mean, when I say the city, the business around, world in London, yeah, the city, yeah. So, so I asked them to, so they wanted me to do some correction. I said, no. You write a rejoinder if you feel so strongly. And I'll run the rejoinder unedited. Okay. So they duly wrote the rejoinder. And as I was laying the page, the stamp-face, the intro, I substituted 2 words with 1. Okay, just editing, yeah. So when the magazine came out, the story came out, the lawyers came back to me, telling me that I undertook to publish the rejoinder unedited. I said, yes, I did edit. They said, no, but you changed. And I said, my friend, you are a lawyer and I'm a journalist, and we have one thing in common. We have one thing in common is the language. And you know that this change I made did not radically alter the context of what your clients were trying to say. So now I'm ready to see you in court. If you're not happy, go to court and I'll see you there. And I never heard from them again. Yeah, so this is an example. I mean, if you get your fact check before you publish, and hey, nobody can touch you. Once you publish your facts, but yeah.
Has there been a time a company or an individual has approached you to compromise the content of a story because they considered it damaging to them for some gain?
No, sir. Never happened. And I wouldn't even countenance that. It's never happened to me. It never happened to me.
So you've done over 40 years. How many more years do you want to go before you lay that busy pen of yours down?
Well, sometimes people ask me this question, and I said, okay, I'm on the wrong side of 60. And again, like I said earlier, journalism is a calling, not a job. Okay. So for as long as I'm mentally and physically capable, I'll continue doing it. I love it. I love journalism. I live, eat, and breathe journalism. So I don't see me quitting unless I'm mentally or physically incapable of doing anything, writing. Yeah.
Is there any history of journalism in your family apart from yourself?
I'm the only one, unfortunately. Yeah. My second daughter was rather interested in journalism. She is very, she's very much out. She's always aware of what's going on. Very
current.
Very current. She went to university to study journalism, but she quit after the first year. And I was so disappointed. But what can you do?
If we have to go back into time, let's say some 50 years, will journalism still be the choice for you?
Yes, that's why I tell people that, look, if there was anything like reincarnation, and I came back as John Offei-Ansah, I'll still come back as John Offei-Ansah, the journalist. I love it. Look, it's taking me places that I never thought I'll be able to visit. I've met people that under normal circumstances, I couldn't even walk up to them to say hello. You know, so look, it hasn't made me rich, no, but financially, but it's enriched my life.
Okay.
As a person, as a human being, yes. I mean, I love that. And again, I like telling, I like informing people. You know, I like to know what goes on around me. My children, when they come home, always complain, Daddy, why? Always watching news, always watching. Can't you get anything else to watch? And I say, I'm sorry. You know, I'm a news fan. I'm a news junkie. You know, so if there was anything like reincarnation, I'd like to come back as I am today.
You've gone through so many years of technological advancement and revolution. I am sure probably at the time you started, computers were bigger like tables. Then came to the desktops, and then we have laptops. Now there are tablets, we have smartphones, on-the-go tools. How have you been able to keep up?
Yeah, when I started, it was manual typewriters. Yeah, manual typewriter. You just have to bang on the keyboard, you know, just by the time you finish, all your fingers will be sore, your fingertips will be sore. But hey, and then we moved to computer. I think I first used a computer at West Africa magazine.
Okay.
That's when I first used a computer. Yeah. And then I moved and I joined the African Concord AED. Again, so the technology, it was cut and paste. The layout, it was cut and paste there. And then we moved on to DTP. And after the first DTP software I used was Ventura.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when I learned. So we have to get rid of the production department because they became redundant. Since we didn't do the bromide cut and paste or whatever, again. So we did everything on the computer on screen. So I learned how to do layouts, you know, how to learn. So from Ventura, we moved to PageMaker. Again, I learned PageMaker and then Quark Express. That's right. So up to now, so you need to, as a, you know, you need to evolve, you know, with the times. You need to adapt, you know, quickly adapt to changes. Otherwise, you'll be left behind. So now I don't go anywhere without my tablets, without my phone, nowhere, you know. And if I can take my laptop with me, to so even when I'm at a party, I have my tablet with me, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, when I go to a party, I also have my tablet with me. So,
So there's a raging debate on this PENSDOWN show, and a good number of journalists, senior ones for that matter, that I've spoken to, feel very strongly about it. They believe journalists should be licensed, at least for the purposes of this discussion in Africa. What do you think of this? Should that be the case? Will that bring the kind of impact or results we seek?
No. In fact, just before we started interviewing somebody, a client of mine in Portugal, a PR client of mine in Portugal, was just asking me a similar question. And I said, no, you cannot. Why do you not say a journalist? You don't do that. It's never done anyway. But what we need, I know the reason why you asked this question, you know, because there are a lot of cowboys, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
And those you call stomach journalists.
Yes, yeah. There are many of them about, yeah. But we need a proper regulatory body. Okay, we have it in the UK here, you know, we have it in the UK here. You know, that will hold errant journalists
Mm.
to account, to
Okay.
hold it. Yeah. But to license me, come on, no. You can't license speech, if you like. I don't have to get a license to talk or to write. No. But there should be very strong regulatory bodies or watchdogs, if you like,
Okay.
yeah, watchdogs, yeah, who will, like I said, take discipline around journalists.
So are you
Yeah.
looking at some sort of an accreditation body, something like that?
I remember when I went to Zimbabwe for this consultancy, when I was a consultant there. I had to be accredited. Yes, I mean, look, in the UK here, we have the National Union of Journalists.
Okay.
And the Institute of Journalists. And the National Union of Journalists is more popular, yeah. Look, if, say, I was attending a press conference at Downing Street,
okay,
and I did not have a press card issued by either the NUJ, National Union of Journalists, or the Institute of Journalists, I will not be admitted to a press conference. That means I'm not a bona fide journalist. You see? So, and the NUJ, the National Journalist Press Card, is issued in conjunction with the police.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means you get some police clearance before.
That aspect was introduced fairly recently, but back in the day when I started, and again, if you're with the NUJ, you have to prove that you have a certain some track record as a journalist. Be you what do you call it? Be you a broadcaster, a writer, a photographer, a sub-editor, or what? You have to show some track record, and you need someone to act as your referee, someone who is a member, alongside the member of the NUJ, to act as your referee before you be accepted. It is so. Again, there need to be some regulatory bodies, and so on and so forth. To our watchdogs to make sure that journalism or the press behave well, not behave well as in acquiescing to authority, singing their masters praises or their voices or whatever. No, but to make sure they do the right thing. They report facts, and if you maybe misreport the facts, you're held accountable. Yeah.
Okay, so you are looking at my question on licensing journalists as clamping down on speech, if I get you right.
Yeah.
But can we look at it in the spotlight of maybe as happens to lawyers? Lawyers are called to the bar.
A lawyer is different from a journalist. A lawyer is different. A journalist is different from a doctor. A journalist is different from an engineer. Right? A lawyer, somebody's liberty is at stake. Somebody's liberty is at stake. Even his life, maybe his life is at stake. And you are there to defend them. That's different. But a journalist, you are reporting things. You are reporting facts. You are reporting events. You are reporting what somebody said.
Yeah.
Somebody is calling you to come and hear what I have to say and tell you to the world. You don't need a license for that. No.
Sir, has it always been print journalism for you all these years and decades?
See, I'm struggling to be articulate. You see, I'm struggling to be articulate.
Because your pen does the talking.
Thank you. Of course, I'm not a good speaker. I stammer. I've managed to overcome my stammering. My stammering was very bad. I managed to overcome it a bit. But yeah. So, yeah, I do appear. I do a lot of analysis on TV, that kind of thing. But that is different,
Okay.
Different. That just like writing women is different from being the presenter or being the listener. No, I'm happy being a print journalist.
Oh,
I'm very happy being a print journalist. Yeah.
Maybe my final question.
Sure.
Social media is here. Having lived through all the technological revolutions, how did the onset and the introduction of social media challenge the frontiers of journalism for you?
Would I say challenging? Well, I would say challenging. Yes, I will accept that word. With the advent of social media, came, that popular phrase, fake news.
That's right.
All right. I mean, you hear something, see that without verification, you post it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
and it's viral.
And it goes viral. You see, and as human beings, we like sensationalism. That's one of the first things we were taught at graduate school. When a dog bites a man, it's not news. But when a man bites a dog, it's news. Right? So this is a sensational, it goes round. And before, that new item is corrected, it's become the norm. It's become news to so many people. So this is why I say it is challenging to our traditional journalism. Okay, so we need to be on our toes all the time to counter, this spread of it. No, there's been so many instances where friends within your mind have called me, have forwarded something to me. Oh, John, is this true? I said, no, it's not true. So if you say it's so true, they will believe you. They will believe that it's not true. But if I confirm it, yes. And then even there are times when I sometimes get something on WhatsApp or whatever.
Yeah.
That at face value looks so so credible.
Yeah.
But you dig further, you realize that, oh boy, this is fake news. So it's made our work cut out, to make sure that you will come up with the news fast. And again, to come out with the news fast, on internet, blah blah. Also, doesn't or make us not to verify, fact check before we publish. So that's also a challenge. Okay, so we need to say if you were creating a newspaper or a magazine, before the magazine, somebody tells they did, who will fact check everything before the magazine came out. But this one is instant.
Yes.
Right, there's a coup in the country A, whatever. Okay, you need to get a news. You want to maybe be among the first, to post it on your website, to draw traffic.
The numbers,
because the more traffic, the more traffic, the more maybe you get from monetization. So it's a challenge, yes. The social media is a challenge, but to me, it's a challenge that we, let's say, encode the traditional cannot meet.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I'll put the brakes here. This has been PENSDOWN, and today I have had the honor of sitting with one of the veterans. When he started, I wasn't born, I have to be honest. And he's been doing this for more than 40 years, and he's still moving strong. He doesn't see himself stopping anytime, probably until he decides, this is the end of the road for me. This has been PENSDOWN, where we talk about the journeys of journalists, what they go through, how certain circumstances that they encounter challenge the news as they get together, they process, and they bring to us. We'll be back next time with another edition. Stay tuned. Thank you very much, sir, for joining me today.
That's for having me, Stephen.